You say that you took a collective 3 damage from him thanks to mirror image and your Sorlock build. Ooh. Then you survived that that adult gold dragon encounter pretty well, huh? And Sorlocks are a solid multi-class as well. Pardon me. All right. Well, my voice held up last night. My voice will hold up tonight. I'm feeling better, despite this kind of lingering cough. So I figure, hey, why don't we get to it, huh? We'll have a little bit of fun. Let's create some characters. Crack open those core books. You know, maybe they've been put to rest over the past week or two because of the holidays. And let's build this sailing world this sailing region that we're going to get into. And there we go. I managed to mute it in time. Ah, so another Tiefling fan. Gotcha. Glad we can make these connections. There, Bitty the snake was kind of getting in the way there. Of course, that dang old glare from above. I'll have to try and find a way to baffle that light without diminishing it too much. Alright, anyway. We have our random number generator. We have our blank character sheet. We have our guide. I think we're ready to roll. Maybe we'll roll into it. You know what? It's been a while since we rolled up a tiefling with our random generator. We'll see what we get. Strays, you're going to start your first campaign next week, running Curse of Strahd, then taking the lads to Ravnica if they survive. Ooh. Curse of Strahd is going to be a ton of fun. And if you need any help with it, myself, and I know that there's others on our server, our Discord server, and our community here, who have run it as well. And so if you ever need some advice, tap us for help. Right, Tal? Hey, sometimes the lore gives you a vague way to make a character blue and you take it. That's what I did with my Moon Elf. Oh, okay. And speaking of Curse of Strahd, hi, Rytel. In fact, Astreus, the track we're listening to right now, is called Barovian Castle. So it's good atmosphere for what you and your players will be getting into with Curse of Strahd. I will say this as well. If you're running it heads up, the Monster Menagerie 1 collection will have a lot of miniatures that are found in that mod. And so if you need any of those, let me know and we can work on a custom order for you. So you have a nice fleshed out suite of monsters to run in your campaign or in your module. All right, percentile. Do we have a female, male, or a multi-class character? With a 26, we have a female character. Now we're going to roll a d10 for the race. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A human. And with an odd number, it is a variant human, meaning we're going to be applying a feat. Rightel, got my new job, so I haven't been able to come down to the store lately. Don't know what my schedule will be yet. So I'll come back if and when I can. Yeah, work has to come first. And if you know, you could join us whenever. I'll be updating the adventure diary for Wednesday. It was a fun session. Someone almost died, but then again, when haven't they? But yeah, we almost lost another person due to a man-eating plant that they kind of barely managed to put down before it was too late for the person who was ingested. PHB only. Oh, because you want to use green flame blade or something? Or what do you think is the deficiency, Coffee Cat? Alright, her alignment is going to be based on 2 percentiles. We rolled 75, 72, so we're going to be a neutral. And we are a chaotic neutral. Also medium sized. There we go. The level at which we're going to generate her is going to be determined on a percentile roll. We rolled a 34. That's going to be a level 8. A level 8 Yumi. Not a lot of good invocations. Ah. It can be a fun challenge, Astraeus. Now, we have the chance by level 8 to get 2 feats instead of ability score improvements or ASIs, or just stat bumps. Let's roll a percentile and find out if any of our ASIs are going to become feats. Rolled a 50. Nope. So she's going to get her starting feat and then 2 stat bumps on top of that. Okay. Her background, we're going to generate a 13-sided die and roll it. Number 6. She's an artisan or a merchant. So she either creates things to sell or sells the things that are created. And there are 20 different categories of things that she can make or sell. Let's roll a d20. And she is number 20. I don't know which one that is, but we're going to put this in as a placeholder to find out. Hey, Diadems, welcome. Also, Astraeus, if I didn't say Happy New Year to you yet, then Happy New Year to you. And same to you, Rightel. Alright, it is now time to discover which class have we generated. Big golden D12 here. Let's hit it and find out. Number 7, a Paladin. Okay. So a Paladin's going to have one of 3 oaths and one of 4 fighting styles. Let's roll a d3 for the oath. 1. Oath of Devotion. And her fighting style is 2. Dueling. There we go. Thank you, Astraeus. All right, let's flesh her out then. With, here we go. Humans start at 4 feet 8, and we're going to add 2d10 inches to her height. So we're adding 14 inches. She is going to be 6 feet tall. I think that's a little shorter than Brianna Tarth. I think she was like 6'4" or something like that. All right, we're going to take that same 14 and multiply it by 2d4. We're going to multiply it by 7. So we are going to be adding 91 pounds to 110. And so she is going to be 201 pounds when she rolls out of bed, you know, in her jams. It's not her backpack, it's not her armor, this is just her. Four would bring it to 5. I'm sorry. That's true. I added the 4 to bring it to 5, and I went up from there. No, you're correct. I added the 4 to bring it to 5 feet, I meant. It's 6'3". Okay. That was close. I mean, off the top of my head, right? All right, and now her age. Let's roll a percentile. 13. She's not a child prodigy, but she is in the young adult range. So that's column 2 here. For humans, that's between 16 and 25. So that's going to be a D10. 2. All right, so she's going to be 17 years old. Young adult, 17. And lastly, we need to gen up some personality traits. 2d8, 4 and 8. And then we're going to roll 3d6 for an ideal, a bond, and a flaw. 5, 4, and 6. I don't know what those mean, and we'll get back to it just in a second, because I believe we are finished now with our random number generation. So we are not going to need this anymore. Let's put this away. And come over to our PHBs class. Open your player's handbooks to chapter 4. You knew we'd be doing this. I hope you brought your books, class. And I like starting with our background first because it tells us a lot about the personality of the character. Gives our character character. Here we go, Guild Artisan. Since when do devotion paladins have personalities? Maybe we found the needle in the haystack then. And we'll see. In fact, we rolled her, so she's either an artisan that makes something or a merchant that sells something. And in particular, this 20 is wood carvers, coopers, and bowyers. So we can, if we want to have it as a collective, or if we want to roll a D3, I mean, depending on the type of character you're making or what your DM might say, you could select one of the 3, or it's just, these are your general set of skills. So we rolled number 20. She is a wood carver, cooper, and or bowyer. We are going to receive proficiency in insight and persuasion. Because, hey, we got to sell our goods. One type of artisan's tools. So it's probably going to be woodworker's tools. Languages, one of your choice. Well, as a human, we get common and one other language. And this is going to give us another language that we can fill in, as is appropriate. We will receive artisan's tools. So, woodworker's tools. A letter of introduction from the guild. Traveler's clothes. And a belt pouch with 15 gold pieces in it. Not too bad. She's doing well for herself. Sorry about that. Our background feature is guild membership, which is a very powerful role-playing background feature. You can do a lot with it because it can get you into or out of legal or legal and or political situations. It can help you rub elbows with the clergy, with other merchants and travelers. It can do a lot, and that's part of the reason why there's a maintenance cost associated with having this affiliation. You got to pay your dues, but you do end up getting a lot out of it if you use it. Okay, well, you know, we had the joke about the personality of the devotion paladin. Let's explore hers a little bit. Her first personality trait is number 4. I'm full of witty aphorisms and have a proverb for every occasion. And number 8, I'm well known for my work, and I want to make sure everyone appreciates it. I'm always taken aback when people haven't heard of me. Her ideal is number 5, people. I'm committed to the people I care about, not to ideals. Her ideal is no ideal. I care about the peoples. They call me peoples because I'm a man of the peoples. In this case, she's a woman of the peoples. Her bond is number 4. I pursue wealth to secure someone's love. She does seem quite devoted, huh? And her flaw is number 6. I'm horribly jealous of anyone who can outshine my handiwork. Everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by rivals. Ooh, fierce. Right? She wants to be known. She wants to be famous. She sees rivals in everyone. No, let's not confuse that with enemies. But anyone could possibly outshine her. She has to be the best. She has to practice her craft. She needs to put it out there. She needs to make sure that she's getting accolades or awards, or she's getting noticed. You know, she's a cooper. She makes barrels. Maybe that's her mark. She uses branding Smite because it's Smite brand barrels. Now, based on this, if we decide that maybe she's better off being a merchant of them, like a seller or retailer of them instead of a maker, we can always mix this up a little bit with guild merchant instead of a guild artisan. Instead of an artisan's guild, you might belong to a guild of traders, caravan masters, or shopkeepers. You don't craft items yourself, but earn a living by buying and selling the works of others. Your guild might be a large merchant consortium with interest across the region. Perhaps you transported goods from one place to another by ship, wagon, or caravan, or brought them from traveling traders and sold them in your own little shop. In some ways, the traveling merchant's life lends itself to adventure far more than the life of the artisan or of an artisan. Rather than proficiency with artisan's tools, you might be proficient with navigator tools or an additional language. And instead of artisan tools, you can start with a mule and a cart. Kind of cool. If you think that she's more of the seller than the maker. I mean, she still keeps her competitive edge in either case. It's just where does the focus, where lieth the focus? All right, we have her personality. Maybe she's starting to formulate in your mind, right? We're pulling her, we're manifesting her from the mists of creation, the very ether itself. And step by step, we are bringing her to life. Let's go over to races. Human, this won't take that long. Variant human traits, it's located right behind me. 2 different ability scores are going to increase by 1, and you gain proficiency in 1 skill of your choice. And then we'll also gain a feat. Well, by being a paladin, strength and charisma are pretty important here. So we could probably drop our 1s here and here, just to make sure. As for a skill, let's take a look. Full of witty aphorisms, I have a proverb for every occasion. I'm well known for my work. I want to make sure everyone appreciates it. Well, we have persuasion. I'm committed to the people I care about. I pursue wealth to secure someone's love. I'm horribly jealous of anyone who can outshine my handiwork. Everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by rivals. Well, we have insight. That could be for evaluation. In a sense, maybe investigation. If she's full of witty aphorisms and have a proverb, that could very well be history. That might make sense. You know, she'll tell you about the story about so-and-so. You know, this happened then and there. And our feet, we'll choose that shortly. Let's load up Paladin first and make her a Paladin. A Paladin. Alright, we're jetting her at level 8. Not too intimidating. That's all we really need. That's going to give us 4 first level spells and 3 second levels. No cantrips. Alright. We are level 8, so we have 8 D10 hit die. We are proficient with all armor and shields, with martial and simple weapons. No tool proficiencies. Our saving throw proficiencies are wisdom and charisma, so we'll fill in the dots here. And now we get to choose 2 skills. Choose 2 from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. Well, we already have insight and persuasion from our background here. So if we go athletics, intimidation, medicine, and religion. She wants to be well known. She's intertwining her own name, her own oath with a particular faith. Or her oath could be even to her own work, because she's so devoted to it. She does have proverbs and aphorisms. We could probably give her knowledge religion here. I'm committed to the people I care about. I'm pursuing wealth. I'm jealous of anyone who can outshine my handiwork. So let's see, if we're woodworking, that could end up taking some feats of strength, you know, various forms of endurance. Athletics could work, right? If you're carrying around heavy wood, or you're rolling around barrels, or you know, if you're carving and you're doing this, you need a strong arm. Athletics could work. If you have any other suggestions, though, hey, this is not my character. This is our character we're building. Let's have a little fun. Let's build. Who is this woman to you? We are going to get some starting equipment as well. We'll get a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. Well, we are going dueling fighting style. So if we are wielding a weapon in one hand and not a weapon in the other, but we can use a shield, that'll give us +2 to damage rolls with that weapon. Let's see. Is she's a woodworker? A woodworker, she's going to use things like chisels, hammers. So we're talking, well, even saws too. So I guess all 3 damage types are really going to be known to her. Coopers, woodworkers. Let's see, what would be a good chisel weapon? That'd be one-handed. I guess something like a long sword. Kind of go a classic sword and board. Although something tells me that she would want a hammer. So maybe you go warhammer with her. Warhammer and shield? That could be a lot of fun. Let's do that. Let's give her a warhammer. And we'll give her a shield. On this character sheet, it's indicated by filling in this little dot here. So if this is filled in, we're going to know our armor class is 2 higher, because we're considered to have our shields equipped. Obviously, if you don't have it equipped in your game, you gotta subtract that AC. 5 javelins. She probably made those javelins herself. Her own brand. A priest's pack or an explorer's pack. If she's entwined her faith and her oath of devotion, and she wants to spread word of who she is and what she does, and to build her brand, she's probably going to have a priest's pack. Which in this case, hey, if you're building this character at home, you might even... I mean, you do get the woodworker's tools from being a guild artisan, but you might be able to maybe swap out some components and work with your DM to come up with something, or somehow infuse the 2. Infuse your woodworker's tools with your priest pack in some way. I don't know, have fun with it. Be creative. Can you explain why you're, like, what the difference is, why you're seeking it? And will it really mean something one way or another mechanically? If not, have fun cosmetically and encourage storytelling. Encourage your player to want to use their artisan's tools. Especially if it's in creative ways. Alright, a chainmail and holy symbol. Alright, well, we can calculate AC very easily. She's wearing chainmail that starts at 16 with a shield. She has a starting AC of 18. Nice and easy. Alright. We are going to receive Divine Sense at level 1. It's a detection of good and evil. Very useful ability. And this is something that, hey, if you're playing a paladin, a lot of the times you're gonna ding with this as often as you can. Obviously, there's a limited feature, but you know, not using this, well, why wouldn't you use this? This is a good resource. It can help give you clues and help your instincts about other to refine your instincts about other people. We're gonna get Lay on Hands. That's a pool of healing. equal to 5 times your level. So in this case, we have 40 points of healing that we can administer to people. Or in units of 5 HP, we can remove diseases and poisons. We're going to get our dueling fighting style, which we already have here at level 2. We are going to start our spellcasting. Spellcasting is going to be one of the last things that we do. Because we're going to need some other stats and stuff in there first. We'll get to it. But especially because the Paladin spell list is so fungible, right? It can change day to day. We can give her a spell list, but it's really just going to be a snapshot of what she expects to happen that day. Now, she will get oath spells, and that's a little bit different. We'll fill that in here shortly. All right, we are also going to receive Divine Smite. We can blow spell slots in order to deal extra damage. Divine Health. We are immune to disease. Oh boy, I wish I had that the past week or so. Can I become a Paladin? A Paladin? That helps out a lot. And by the way, if you're a DM, I'm not just saying this because I'm coming over the flu. I mean, it's a good reminder. But sickness exists in the world. And, I mean, don't underestimate how bad a common cold or a flu can really hold things up. And, you know, depending on the technology of the world, the hygiene of the world in which you're running, disease could be very commonplace. So make sure you consider that, right? It's a part of your world. Now, what you consider to be a disease, you know, would you consider parasites like tapeworms a disease? Would you consider mental illness a disease? Would you consider, you know, so this is going to be where you have to make a decision. Could you make an argument that, you know, some diseases are too supernatural to exist outside of divine health, that the Paladin could still succumb to it? Or are there some diseases that are honestly just the natural course of things? Could you consider cancer to not be a disease because it's technically a part of your body, that it's mutated, but would you not consider that to be a disease? And so therefore it's a very real thing in your world. You know, take a minute to stop and consider these elements. Does divine health just protect you from bacteria and viruses? Of course, I mean, you're like, well, but I got to have the bacteria in my gut if I want to process food. You know, look, I'm not here to muck things up too much, but hey, think about this and have these fun conversations with yourself as a PC to other PCs, or as a PC to a DM. Was that world building advice or a suggestion to maybe postpone a game if half the people are coming with cold? Well, you may want to postpone still, because look, if you have a couple people who have a cold coming and sitting down and breathing and sneezing or whatever on other people for several hours, you know, sharing food and drink, you may not want to play. But yeah, in world building, disease gets around, right? People don't know how to bury bodies properly. You know, you're going to get outbreaks of diseases, cholera and dysentery. You know, if drinking water is contaminated, if you might have bloodborne diseases that are transmitted by parasites like fleas. That's happened in history. Tarek, hey. I mean, if we're doing this for good old Papa Nurgle, I mean, then we're, you know, then really it's a buffet. But look, I'll tell you, I had a flu. And I'm using, well, I was over the counter, but I'm using modern medicine to suppress my symptoms. If one of your party members has the flu, a regular flu, not some Spanish flu that wiped out, a third of Europe, not some like super mummy rot mega flu that's a magical disease. I mean, if one of your party members has the flu, how could it spread to the other party members? And is the party going to be held up for 3-4 days? Going to be held up for a week? Because the other person has no energy, can't really move, is too sore. Just by being awake, you hurt. You stand up and you wobble off 10 feet to, relieve yourself behind a tree. And then, by the time you come back, you're out of breath. That sucks. And of course, let's not mention too when dehydration is a secondary threat. If you can't hold down what you're putting into your body, if you can manage to put anything into it because it's coming back up, or it's it's coming out the other end, but it's not solid. We could get into the mechanics of levels of exhaustion. We could get into all sorts of, we could go into the mechanics as they manifest in 5th edition. But even only having one person with the flu in your party, think about what that's going to do. Remember the feeling when your skin is trying to crawl itself off the meat. I can't say I had that. Fortunately, I didn't have that. But, oh, Derek, I'll tell you, like, just waking up and you're like, wow, I'm awake. I haven't even done anything and I just hurt all over. All right, so we'll come to our Sacred Oath here soon enough. At 5th level, we're going to get our extra attack. At 6th level, we're going to get Aura of Protection. She attack and she protect. Starting at 6th level, whenever you or a friendly creature within 10 feet of you makes a saving throw, the creature gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to your Cha. And we're not quite high enough yet for Aura of Courage because we're only level 8. All right, now we are going to fill in her archetype, her Oath of Devotion. Maybe that's what we need to make a plague creating doctor. Let's get some disease up in this. CC. Creative channel. I have a druid concept for that. As like a subclass Rytal? Or you mean as a character? Character creation, gotcha. Yeah, to make some sort of like what would be like a plague brewer or something like that. A plague mancer. All right, so don't lie or cheat. Let your word be your promise. Hey, this goes with her being an artisan. Never fear to act, though caution is wise. Aid others, protect the weak, and punish those who threaten them. Show mercy to your foes, but temper it with wisdom. Treat others with fairness, and let your honorable deeds be an example to them. Do as much good as possible, while causing the least amount of harm, and be responsible for your actions and their consequences. Protect those entrusted to your care, and obey those who have just authority over you. Yeah, I'll ale all that cures you. Oh, Derek, the Book of Vile Darkness, you could find some creepy crawly stuff in there. And, you could find ways to... if potions are kind of a liquid form of spell, and a scroll is sort of like the instant scratch-off version of a spell, I'm sure there's a mechanic that, if it's not already invented, that we could use where a spell is imbued in a disease, and over time, the disease will set in. And because of that, as a delivery agent, maybe it could make it more difficult to resist the effects of the spell, or it's harder to counter, or something along those lines. Because here you'd have something like a spell retrovirus that's, inserting the effects of the spell directly into your cells, as viruses do. That's how they replicate. They inject their RNA into your own and use your own cells as hosts, and then your cells burst open with other viruses that try and overwrite your DNA. So that could be a very interesting mechanic to explore. A delivery method for magic items or the like is through disease. Pardon me. When Maddie, the impossible has happened, I've created a character that makes me uneasy to play. In that so wonderful way. I'm glad then if that makes it. It's a good challenge, right? In my last Heads Up campaign with my friends, one of my players was playing as a lizard folk, like as a shaman, who collected diseases. And one of the diseases that we came up with was called foamy bone disease. Foamy space BONE. Foamy bone disease. It was interesting. Alright, we're going to get a couple devotion spells here. Kind of like with a cleric, they act as your oath spell, or as your domain spells. So these will always be memorized on your list and don't count against the additional spells you'll be able to learn. You just always will have these because they're a part of your faith. Alright, not quite high enough yet for our 3rd level for our Beacon of Hope and Dispel, but we will get protection from evil and good, as well as Sanctuary. We'll also get Lesser Resto and Zone of Truth. Four and 3 while we're on this page. Spellcasting ability for paladins. For paladins is Charisma. Spells prepared equals... And when we get our Charisma modifier, we'll know that. Okay, we are going to get a Chandiv. Channel Divinity. Sacred Weapon. As an action, you can imbue one weapon that you are holding with positive energy. Using your Channel Divinity for a minute, you add your Charisma modifier to attack rolls made with that weapon. The weapon also emits bright light, etc., and so forth. And we can also turn the unholy. As an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer, censuring fiends and undead using your Channel Divinity. Each fiend or undead that can see or hear you within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. And we are also going to get Aura of Devotion at level 7. Starting at 7th level, you and friendly creatures within 10 feet of you can't be charmed while you are conscious, because you're too charming yourself. Cool. Now, before I drop in our standard array, let's take a look at the feats that are available to our character and decide which one we want to give her, because this is a part of her like level 1 character creation, and it could even give her a stat bump somewhere. Let's take a look at her personality. So, right, she has these tenets of devotion and of faith. full of witty aphorisms and proverbs. I'm well known for my work, and I want to make sure everyone appreciates it. I'm committed to the people I care about, not to ideals. I pursue wealth to secure someone's love. I'm horribly jealous of anyone who can outshine my handiwork. All right, so she has to be noticed. She has to be the one in charge of, maybe the one in charge of a project. Especially with how she expresses herself through her chaotic, neutral personality. She's spontaneous, and she's not selfish, but she wants to make sure that if she's taking care of herself, she can take care of other people. So she's going to do what's right by her because it's going to do right by others eventually. That's kind of going to inspiring leader for me. Right? You can spend 10 minutes inspiring your companions, shoring up the resolve to fight. When you do so, choose up to 6 friendly creatures, which can include yourself, within 30 feet of you who can see or hear you and who can understand you. Each creature can gain temporary hit points, right? So she resolves. She's this wood carver. Maybe it's a magical effect that comes off of her. And these, like wood carvings of protection cover people. That's a part of her craft, right? If we're talking about her, she's devoted maybe to a religion, but her craft is her devotion. Her pride is a part of what she does. Her prayer is working with her hands. Inspiring leaders definitely coming to mind. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, if you think that it should be something else, hey, go for it. This isn't my character. This is our character. You can throw a suggestion in chat, or hey, you might be watching this 3 years from now on YouTube. And this is inspiration. Use it as a springboard. Use this character as a template and modify it as you see fit. We're here having fun, freely thinking, coming up with really cool characters. All right, now we can drop in our stats. Strength and charisma are going to be big for her. Let's give her strength of 15 and her charisma the 14 here. Should probably make her, let's go 13 wisdom. And we should give her some hit points here. She's a she's a durable woman. Dexterity, I think we can sort of even out at 10. Her intelligence, I think, is going to be an 8, right? She's not necessarily dumb. In fact, she's good at knowing tales of history and religion. She just doesn't have a universal application for her knowledge. She's just really focused in 2 things. Right? She's committed to people, right? She has feelings. She has these charismatic ideals. She's wise. Nope, am I getting a cat? I see a cat over here. Am I getting you? Hi. Are you just going to go right into my lap? What's going on? Hey, go say hi to people. Yeah, there we go. Hey, we didn't see you last night, right? So Happy New Year. First cat butt of the new year, everyone. Enjoy. Happy Cat Butt 2019. All right, so dropping in the racial modifiers, that's going to be a 16 strength and a 15 charisma. And then we're going to get an ability score increase at level 4 and level 8, meaning we can add 2 points to 1 score or 1 point to 2 scores. So really we have 4 points that we can distribute as we see fit. Well, we could probably use 1 to round up our wisdom and our charisma. And then we can drop a second one into, maybe we'll bring up our strength. So she's hitting harder, she's working harder, right? She's able to work that hammer and chisel, you know, make those barrels and really go to town. So with these scores in mind, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is going to become, hi bud, you're everywhere that I need to be. There we go. -1 int. Oh, thank you. He's laying on the very narrow strip of desk I have between the end of my keyboard and me. Alright, by 8th level, we have a +3 proficiency bonus. So we're going to add that as we come through. Our strength saving throw is a 4. So we have a 7 athletics. 0 all the way down for dex. Constitution's a 1. History is 2, religion is 2, but everything else we're going to Control C and Control V, that -1. Wisdom's going to be 2s, with the exception of insight, which is 5, and our wisdom saving throw, which is a 5. And then charisma, we have 6s on proficiencies and 3s everywhere else. Nice and easy, simple math. Alright, now that we have the stats, guess what? She is no longer a pile of random numbers. She's earned a name. So at any point, if this character is inspiring you with a name of some kind, you are welcome to offer it in chat, and let's name our character. Alright, hit points. At first level, you get your maximum hit points based on your hit die, so it's 10, because we're a D10 hit die class. For the 7 remaining levels, you go half +1 of your hit die. So half of 10 is 5 + 1 is 6. Your DM might say roll for it every level, give you max or give you minimum. Or allow for a reroll if you roll a 1. I prefer the half +1. It's nice and steady and it benefits you as the PC. And then for every level, all 8 of them, you're going to get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. So in this case, it's going to be 8 times 1 because that's our con mod. Add it together, and what do you have? (42 + 8 is 50, + 10 is 60. So at level 8, we have 60 hit points. Our initiative is +0 because that's a dexterity check, and our modifier is 0. We have no dark vision as we're an Yumi. As a human, we have a 30-foot run, which is going to give us a 15 climb speed, 15 swim, and a 0 fly. When we're attacking with strength, such as with our warhammer or our javelin, it is a ranged weapon, but is a thrown weapon, meaning we're using strength. Strength is 4 plus our proficiency as we're proficient with these weapons. We have a +7 to hit. Warhammer is 1d8 plus 4. However, if we're wielding it in one hand, we get an extra 2 damage because of our dueling fighting style. So really that's a +6. This is a versatile weapon, so you can two-hand it, but statistically it'll be better if you use your dueling fighting style with it, one-handed. And this is bludgeoning. Javelins are 1d6 plus 4 piercing damage. Unless we're stabbing it with one hand, in which case that would go up to a 6. So I don't know, melee plus 6. However you want to make a note. All right, let's make a little room there. We didn't get anything specific from our race. I mean, we did, but we were able to fill it in all the other slots. All right, if we're making a spell attack that is based off charisma, we are proficient with our spells, at least I'd hope so. That's a plus, whoops. That'll be a plus 6. When you're calculating your save, add 8 to your attack, and that is your spell save. That's how the formula works, and it works across the board. So nice and easy, 14, to resist the effects of our spells. Passive perception is 12, because it's 10 plus your perception modifier. And that measures how naturally aware she is. Saves a lot of time when trying to calculate if someone's surprised, do they find a trap or a secret door. It can just save a lot of rolling if you just take passive perception into account. So let's see, we had a 14. Hey, awesome. Katie, Doomfish, and all, welcome. How was the hunting, Katie? It's good to see you here. Also, Happy New Year to you and everyone else from your corner at Twitch. We're 8th level times 5 is 40 points of lay on hands. And there we go. It's great to see you all. Sorry my voice might sound a little raspy, but I'm getting over having the flu. You finished Monster Hunter, gathered everyone in Doom's chat and threw it. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much. Well, welcome to you all, and thank you, and Happy New Year. It's always great having you around. I have a monster right here laying in front of me. He's curled up like a morph ball. It's my big chunky tabby cat right here, who has given you all a New Year's cat butt a little bit earlier on stream. Hello, moi. Undo toi cat. Oh no, undo toi. Sexcent cat. No, then sept. Oh, it's been a while since I've had French. Undo toi cat. Oh, I'm messing it up. Ah, shame on me. I gotta practice my numbers. So, hello. Hey, there's Doomfish. Alright, Coffee. Hey, go scrounge up some food. We'll take a little bit of a break here, and I'll come back with some chips and salsa, and we'll snack and drink, and then we'll make another fun character together, too. By the way, for your Paladin, spells prepared, your charisma modifier, plus half your Paladin level, rounded down. So that's going to be 7 extra spells. We're level 8, and we have a plus 3 charisma. 7 spells in addition to what you get from your oath. So because we can cast level 1 and 2 spells, you can, you know, every day you get up and you pray for your spells, or do whatever's thematic for your character, you could have 6 level 1 spells and 1 level 2 spell. You could go 4 and 3. You could go 5 and 2, whatever you want, 2 and 5, if you really want to load up options at your higher level. But it can change based on the Paladin list. Whereas your oath will open you up to spells not normally found on the Paladin spell list. Of course, you still have to abide by the number of slots you have, but you have some flexibility when it comes to the spells that you do take. Doom, I'm still figuring out how Twitch works. No, don't worry about it. You're fine. Thank you very much for that raid. That was awesome of you all to do, and I very much appreciate it. Paladins, they are very strong, and yeah, they can be a lot of fun. All right? They're very customizable to your roleplay experience because when you craft your oath, you know, it holds a meaning. It's very personal. And they have a lot of very good options in combat. Paladins aren't just tanks. Paladins can have some damage. They can really output some damage too. Oh, looks like my cat accidentally made my passive perception like 120 billion up here instead of 12. All right, well, I'm sure she appreciates that, but let's be able to like have her turn off her eyes and ears. Otherwise, what a torturous existence. It's like hearing through your skin. All right, so really the last thing she needs is a name. Doomfish says, my Oath of Vengeance Paladin that I'm playing runs combat with a 22 AC, shield, spell, and armor, and I just got a Sunlight Blade that deals extra damage to some Dargans. I'm a blender that can't be hit, and you just hit level 8. Ooh, that is quite the combo you have going on there, Doomfish. Just be careful, because enemies might hit you back harder once they learn who you are. They adapt, and your enemies will probably adapt. They'll say, oh, yes, so, we're just going to zap your mind. Or we're going to throw fireballs at you, because, I don't know, if Dex is your dump stat or something. But that's the fun challenge, right? Having a character that, having a character that has strengths, for sure, but especially if you have a good DM that can just sort of needle at those weaknesses too, and then if you play off of that, and you have that, you know, your character has that moment, like that moment of self-doubt. You know, here I was having such a good run, and now, you know, have I been forsaken? What am I doing wrong? Am I doubting myself? Am I going to lose my faith and all of my powers that come from my devotion? So you have this crisis, and then you can come back, resolve yourself, and be even stronger. Paladins are excellent for storytelling in that regard. I mean, it's built into your character. Oath of Vengeance was an RP choice because of how the story was going. It felt good. And one of the big enemies is a witch that brought my brother back from the dead and made me fight him. Ooh. So that'll really, that'll rustle your codpiece a little bit. Katie, hey, if Katie knows what she's doing, then, you know, if she's getting you like fired up, if she's getting your character like really into it, and you're choosing these powers and abilities based off of storyline reasons and not just maximum DPR or the like, then surely you do have a good DM, and you are a good PC for wanting to invest in the story. Not just the meta of that class, or, you know, that combo of race, class, and background. You know, you're in it for the story, and you're not just in it to generate the as high a number as you can generate. So let's see, the last thing this character needed then, before we take a bit of a break, is a name. So we come through, let's go, Hey, Doom, no problem. Thank you very much for coming together and bringing everyone over. You're welcome to lurk, go to bed, do what you gotta do. Maybe we can make a portmanteau of Katie Sue and Doomfish for this character. Since we have a paladin, we have this female paladin. She's very driven. She loves her craft. She loves her art. You know, that is the source of her devotion. So let's go with something like let's see. No, we can do this. We can work with this. Cat Doom. Sooty Caifish. Her name is Sooty. Hey, if we have a Cinderella, we could have a Sooty. Whether or not that's her actual name or people call her that. Hey, if she's a woodworker, like you know, especially as a cooper, she also needs to like char and heat temper the lumber or the wood that she's using. In order to help shape it, in order to help cure it up, in order to help like kiln dry it. And so in this case, you know, if she could just be called Sooty, or that's because, you know, she's a hard-working woman. You know, she's used to sort of like wiping the sweat off her brow, so she gets soot on her as like an effort, like as a mark of her trade, and that could even be her war paint as she's ready to go into battle. You know, she carries herself. With this devotion, and so, you know, she wears the soot from her craft on her face as her war paint, because she's carrying her work and her passion into combat with her. Hey, Veil Fears. Yes, so my ambition is in February, 1 day a week, I will have a campaign where, for people who want to participate in it, you can create a character along certain guidelines. I'll pull names from a hat, and that week through Roll20, I will roll with 4 or 5 people. It'll be an episodic adventure every week, and the cast and crew can change over time. Well, more, I mean, maybe not the crew necessarily, but the cast. So Vale, you know, if you wanted to participate and you were free that day and time to be announced, and you know, you could, no, Tuesday is Tuesday. That is a fixed point in time, to go with Doctor Who, with a Doctor Who euphemism. So it's and in fact it's not going to compete with Tuesday. It'll either accent it. I don't know if it'll like be earlier than Tuesday, like, and then we'll go from one to the next. That might be a little bit too much for me to do in one night. But it'll be on another day, probably not a Thursday either, because I hear there's another campaign that runs on Thursdays that's kind of popular. In fact, I kind of wonder what that might be sitting at right now. Oh, how is that game over? Is Critical Role over now? I don't see it on the D&D page. But yeah, it's like they get, 45,000 people watching. Oh, it's on a holiday break? Got it. So yeah, it'll be open, and it'll be... I say something like Star Trek because it's going to be based off of a sailing vessel. And every week, members of the crew are going to go on an away mission of some kind. And it'll change up week by week. And you'll do something or another, and hopefully you'll succeed. And if so, you'll earn some fame, glory, a little bit of money, and go from there. All right, so in our warm up to get this concept going, Vale, we're making some characters. Sooty may end up being an NPC in this world. We'll see. If there's a place for her and what happens, whether she's on a ship or you encounter her in one of the port cities or something. But the stuff that we're making this week and next are all sort of warm up. Let's throw some ideas out there. Let's develop characters. Let's develop maybe a city. Maybe we could develop the port, like the main port city from which a lot of the operations will be taking place. Kind of like, I don't want to say like Black Lagoon. I don't want to give the wrong impression here. I would like us to be more often good guys than not. People for hire. Transporting others. Maybe engage in some naval combat, go on supply runs, first contact with natives, all that sort of stuff. Hey, Rexy, Happy New Year to you. Same here. It's been a month of D&D play for me, and I'm going through withdrawals. Oh, I'm sorry. But hey, when you get back into it, hopefully you'll be re-energized. You'll have a ton of new ideas. You're going to be fresh. You're going to hit that character sheet, and you're going to start playing and rock it. McGruber, so we primarily are a workshop channel. I do broadcast D&D content on Tuesdays, and we're talking about getting a second open game going for viewers who want to participate in something that's ongoing as well. So we provoke creativity, I answer questions, and not just me, there's others in the channel here who can help out too. So if you're a newcomer and you have a question about how does this combo work, or I'm a first-time D&D, I haven't even played D&D, but I'm interested. What is D&D? How do you win? Right? Is it a game you can win? That kind of a thing. So we provoke creativity, we theory craft, we discuss, we break things down and analyze it. And McGruber, for you or anyone else who's new here, if you're here lurking and enjoying, if you were to join us on our Discord, you have an invitation to, or hey, if you have 11 billion Discords already and you say, one more isn't my thing, you don't have to. You can, you don't have to subscribe. You can go back into our past content and review the things that we've gone over, right? Strongholds and Followers the past week. Go back, and there is campaign content here to inspire you. We create maps. We create cities. We create characters. We create story outlines that you can use and modify. If you like something, download the sheet and change it up. Have fun at your tabletop. You know, are you a DM and you're writing a campaign and you come into a writer's block? If you don't find something here in our past content, you know, you can find that on our YouTube, of course, as well. You can hop into our project workshop chat up here. And we have a mentor network, and maybe we can help give you some ideas for art, writing. If you have a role play concept, like I want to create a new spell that does something. Let's unlock our creativity together. Let's draw on each other's expertise and be better role players and storytellers, to be better friends. And that's exactly what this channel's all about. Hey, Makoki, welcome back. Gruber, I played a few one-shots in 3.5, and I've played a few other tabletops. My wife got me in his D&D content for Christmas, and I'm DMing for a group of family and friends. We've only had 2 sessions, but everyone seems to love it. I learned very quickly that PCs don't... Oh, yes. You are correct, McGruber. So you have to adapt as a DM, right? Sometimes it's like herding cats, but sometimes you just want to see where the cats go, because it might take you in a cool new direction. So McGruber, if there's any way... I mean, by the way, pardon my voice. I got the flu between Christmas and New Year, so I swear my voice sounds better than it does normally. But yeah, if we can help you out at all, McGruber, if you have questions on rules interactions, or say, I am feeling like I'm herding cats. How do I get my players... How do I get my players to go to the dark spooky castle on the hill? Because that's where they gotta go. Maybe we can help you do that as well. We're here just for, you know, we're here for that. More so using your adventure guide to tell me how to do it. I'm letting the players tell me what they're doing, and I'm managing to bring them back to the story. And yeah, you know what, McGruber? Between 3rd ed and 5th, or 4th, or 2nd, or every RPG, D&D or otherwise, it's a storytelling game. Is everyone having fun telling a tale? Congrats. That's how it's done. The mechanics might change, you know, but it sounds like you're good for it. But if you ever need a boost, let us know. Sometimes it's about putting what you have planned in front of the cats, regardless of what route they take. Pardon me. So, if any of you are joining, welcome. We do keep it safe for work, a PG-13. So, you know, it should be family friendly. You should never have to worry about opening up, you know, what we have going on here. And, you know, you can access the fun stuff that we have. You know, you're sitting at a table in a game store. Thank you very much, McGruber. And we're sitting down discussing things. And I'll tell you what, I got to get up. I'm going to refresh my drink. That way I'm not going to lose my voice totally. I'm going to get some chips and salsa. Maybe a nice hot salsa, huh? Why don't we come back and make another character from scratch completely randomly, using our imagination to connect the dots, and pull this character from concept and random number generation into a fully thought out, a fully fledged character with thoughts, feelings, and reasons of his or her own. So hang in there. We're going to come back in about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. I'm feeling kind of energetic. I have my energy back from the flu. I just don't sound like it. And we'll make character number 2. All right? See you soon.